What is up, everyone? JP McDaniel here. You might know me from MLG and State of the Game. And this is JP and Friends. You can hear that reverb on the mic right there. That's coming from one Greg EG.IdrA Fields. What's going on, Greg?
Hey, not too much.
So Greg, of course, is living right now in South Korea. And we're going to talk to him a little bit later about, of course, the GSL and more importantly, the GSL Round of 8 and GSL Round of 4. So we're probably going to be spoiling some of that. So after we do this little first portion of kind of commentary on some games that IdrA's been playing on the U.S. server, we're going to jump into those questions. So just beware. Spoilers might occur. I don't want to freak anyone out. And then after that, Greg is actually... this part that I'm kind of worried about, he's going to play against me, and we're going to see exactly how IdrA coaches players. So that's going to be very exciting stuff. But without further ado, Greg, you want to go ahead and jump straight into this game?
Yep, that sounds good.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and unpause here, and we're on Metalopolis. Now, how long ago did you play this game?
Are we on pause now?
Yes, we are unpaused.
Okay. I don't know, it was just a couple of days ago. After GSL, I didn't really feel like practicing, so I just went on the U.S. server to bash newbies, and Cruncher came up.
Now, would you...
So like 2 days ago?
So is he one of these newbies that got bashed? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yep.
All right, so we've got IdrA spawning over here as the red Zerg on Metalopolis at the 3 o'clock position, sending his Overlord over there to scout about. And one Cruncher. Now, is one his team? Is that his new team or something?
Yeah, this is the guy who somehow won the 3rd TSL qualifier this morning. So, yeah, one's his team. I don't know who else is on it.
I see. So Cruncher spawning as the blue Protoss over here at the 9 o'clock position on Metalopolis, sending his probe up here to the 12. So he's obviously going to run into your Overlord and know probably exactly where you're at. Now, ZVP, I know that you've actually been saying you hate this matchup, at least playing on the Korean side of things. Playing against MC especially, you were very, very worried about playing him. I think you mentioned that in a couple of interviews. What really kind of bothers you about this matchup?
Well, pretty much everything. The mid-game is okay for Zerg, but everything else sucks. Protoss has so many options early. Just all of the Warp Gate all-ins. Those have been strong since the beta. And now with the change to Phoenix build time, they can get like 4 or 5 Phoenixes out before you have Hydras. Void Ray rushes, if the Void Ray rush catches you off guard, or Void Ray assisted Warp Gate all-ins. Even DT or Blink Stalkers. It's just Protoss has a ton of builds, they can all kill you, and it's really, really hard to scout them. And they all have different responses. So most of the time, you are aiming to just not die, much less get an advantage in the early game.
That is
and then late game, Protoss is this big death ball, and it doesn't really matter how many resources you have, how many units you have, it just kills everything. So, yeah, it sucks.
Now, we just saw Cruncher throw down a pylon, obviously, to block that hatchery. Really, is this kind of something that you're used to, or do you pretty much generally just do exactly what you do to respond anytime that happens? Yeah,
Protoss should always do that if they can at all. It's worth almost anything to delay the Zerg's expansion. And the only thing you can really do is just get Zerglings out and kill the pylon when they do that.
Now, just in general, when you're playing ZVP, how many kind of build openers do you have kind of in your playbook?
There's basically 3 builds, and 2 that I really use frequently. Speedling is kind of a really safe build. It gives you a little bit more map control early. It kind of guarantees that you're not going to lose flat out to a 2-gate. So maybe in a Steps of War kind of map, I'll use just 14 gas, 14 pool, or 15 gas, 14 pool, and open Speedling. But I usually don't like that. Normally my build is either 15 hatch, 16 pool, or just a normal fast expand 15 hatch. Yeah, since this is a bigger map, then usually on a bigger map I would go hatch first, but for some reason I went pool first this game. I don't really know why.
When you're playing on the U.S. servers, do you kind of take it a little bit less serious, or do you take all games pretty much the same way?
No, like I said, I was playing this because I didn't really want to play. Yeah, you'll see here, he does kind of a warp gate all in, but first off, he's hiding his warp gates, which makes absolutely no sense because they're warp gates. And then he just has half as many units as a Korean would do doing the same build. So, no, I just play US to relax because it's easier and the players don't really know what they're doing.
So pretty much if you're not in Korea, or after playing in Korea for so long, coming back over here, it seems kind of like a step down, so to speak.
Yeah, especially because, as far as I can tell, the top players don't really ladder that much. And, I mean, there are competent foreigners, but who suck.
Well, you cut out just a little bit there, but I think people got the point when you said foreigners, pause, suck. So that was pretty good right there. I think people understand what you were trying to say. So yeah, we've got Cruncher going up to 4 gates right now, and you right now have popping up the production tab, Metabolic Boost about to finish, and you're just going to be going a ton of lings, it looks like, with 10 more in production. So yeah, you're probably going to be able to defend against that. I mean, you seem pretty confident going in, probably going to spoil that a little bit. But now, when you kind of see 4 gate as you do over here, as you have lings attacking, do you ever throw down any spine crawlers at your base if you feel threatened, or do you just stay purely ling?
Well, in this case, for some reason, he pulled probes off gas. You can see he only has 2 probes on each gas, and he pulled the extras off before my drone scout died. So I knew he'd be doing this low gas all in, mostly Stalker Zealot, and Mass Lings beats that. So it was kind of a response to what I scouted. But against a normal 4 gate, yeah, you either have to go Roaches and Zerglings, or you need a bunch of spine crawlers and rush to Hydras. It's just in this specific case versus the low gas all in that pure Zergling works.
Alright, so it looks like Crunchers was thinking about throwing down a forward pylon there, but now he's fallen back. All of his Stalkers are grouping up here, getting ready to attack. There goes that forward pylon, just a little bit closer to your base, and you're continuing to just mass up lings as you have, popping up the unit counting station, 58 lings. That is quite a lot. A little bit not that high on drones, obviously, because you've been pumping so many lings, and 26 pros for him. And like you were saying, generally not too many units compared to people that you see on the Korean server. Now, when you're going for an attack like this as a newer player, what is pretty much your position that you're trying to gain on him?
In this kind of a battle, your goal is to have the Zerglings attacking the Stalkers and Sentries as much as possible. The Zealots are kind of a meat shield. They absorb Zergling hits really well, but Zerglings absolutely destroy Stalkers and Sentries. So your initial goal is just to get us around, just have his units trapped. And then after that, you want to focus on the Stalkers and the Sentries.
Wow, without a GG, there goes Cruncher leaving. Pulling an IDrA on IDrA. There's something meta for you. But let's pop out of this replay and load up that other replay. I think you're playing against, this is Jimmy, a Terran player. Isn't he on, I want to say he's on Lazarus Gaming, am I?
I thought he was on Check 6, but that might have changed.
No, I think you are right. He is on Check 6 now that I think about that. So let me know when you're loaded up into that replay, and we'll go ahead and get this started.
It's loading now. I think this was a better game. He's not quite as terrible as Cruncher is.
I hope Cruncher is reading this. I'm sure your haters out there are already on Reddit and Team Liquid and posting about how BM you are towards the U.S. players, and the world is just burning all around you.
It's loaded.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and unpause here in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. So now, Scrap Station, generally when people cast this or talk about this map, they always say it's in favor of the Zerg. What are your thoughts on it? Do you agree with that?
It's in favor of Zerg in the current metagame, as kind of weird as that sounds, but Terrans are all really, really focused on aggressive builds. At most, they get 2 bases and then make a bunch of Marine tank and try and push through the little choke. And because the rush distance is so long, Zerg can get a good economy up early. There's not too much threat early game, and this makes it much easier to deal with that early game harass stuff. But and it's already starting to happen a bit. As Terrans move more towards late game macro styles, they learn how powerful defensive Terran is. Then this map will get really, really bad for Zerg, because it's hard to secure an econ advantage. It's really easy for Terran to just make a big-ass line up the center and not let you take the gold base, and then basically you're stuck fighting on even bases versus Terran, and Terran units are more efficient than Zerg, so that leaves you in a really bad situation. You'll basically get one timing attack where you can try and break them with Broodlords or Ultras, and if that fails, you just slowly get choked out.
And just talking about maps in general, yesterday we were... you can check the videos out on my YouTube, but we had IDrA smurfing on a Friday Night Fights episode, playing against random people from the chat, and I was throwing in some maps that GSL is currently considering for the next, I think it's for the next GSL. I think they're playing on the Gisato Star Challenge. I think I got the name of that right. But anyways,
yeah.
Have you had a chance to play any of those maps prior to yesterday?
No, that was the first time.
So just kind of initial thoughts. What are your thoughts on them?
I liked the one that was like a Peaks of Baekdu clone. That seemed pretty good. And the last one, the one I actually lost on, I think that'll be pretty good for Zerg. You just get 3 gases really, really quickly. It's pretty easy to defend. It's a big map. I think it's a step in the right direction. A lot of the problems with the game right now are just how small and tight all the maps are.
Now, if you want to check those maps out for yourself, you can simply go into the Create a Game and search for GSL. I believe they're all tagged with that, and check them out. They're pretty good maps. I mean, I got to say, they created some very interesting macro games. They're very, very large, and for some reason, there's a duck in every map that makes very obnoxious noises. We found that out yesterday during the stream. There's also Tron coloring across the entire area. So, yeah, check those out. They're good maps. But back into this ZVT on Scrap Station. Looks like Jimmy is going to throw down a bunker here right next to those destructible rocks there, right next to your hatch. And you actually, I do not believe you saw the SCV sneak in there. Is this correct?
Nope. I don't remember if I saw him scouting or not, but I didn't see him go over there, and I just wasn't thinking he would bunker rush because it's kind of a strange build on this map. Even with a Reaper, it just gets there so slowly.
And it's, I mean, do you agree with this position of where this bunker is? I figured it might have been better upwards a little bit, closer to where the units can actually get in there.
You mean further down?
Well, I guess not up the ramp.
It's a Reaper, so
oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Sorry, I just completely scrubbed it up there. I was thinking Marines were going to come, but yeah. So it looks like you're not going to have any problem, as much as I just had, taking down that bunker. The Reaper is still going to live up to 5 kills right now, 6 kills. Do you encounter Reapers that often over on the Korean server?
Reaper expand, just make 1 or 2 Reapers, command center, and then go heavy bio. It's still a pretty good build. Obviously, you don't get mass Reaper at all anymore. But yeah, a lot of people will still open 1 or 2 Reapers just to get a safe expansion up and get some scouting. I think it's actually a pretty good build. I think it should be used more.
Command center going down for Jimmy, about halfway complete. Now, one thing newer Zerg players, as the hive mind there talks over me, that can learn a lot from your play is the Overlord placement. You have pretty much one at every pivotal area outside of Jimmy's base. You can have one here at his natural expansion to see exactly when his command center lands and see how many SCVs he's currently producing. One over here by his ramp to see if any forces are moving out towards you. And then one at the back of his base here to see any oncoming drops. Is that something you tend to do all the time on, or as much as possible against your opponents on maps?
Yeah, Overlord placement is always critical. The first things you want to be looking for is the ability to check their gas, check if they got both gases, and check if they're still mining from them. A lot of the times against Protoss will now do 1 gate or a 1 gas warp gate all in, and if you can see that, then you can counter it. So it's important to really try and get your Overlord in vision of his gas. The other thing is expansions out to attack you. But Overlord placement is absolutely crucial because it's so hard to scout with Zerglings or drones early on because Terran and Protoss always wall off. So you really have to take advantage of Overlords whenever you can.
Now, you're going Banelings, as I did not even see that in the production tab. Where is your Baneling nest at? Ah, there it is, over at your natural expansion. A ton of Banelings being morphed in. And what is your kind of general plan right here? Did you basically see those 2 depots next to his ramp and you're thinking, well, I can break that easily with Banelings?
Combination of that and the fact that he opened Reaper. Like I said, Reaper now almost always means Reaper expand into bio, which obviously would have a really hard time holding off Baneling Zergling. But this was more intended just to be kind of like light pressure, harass kind of thing, the way Kyrix does. It's not an all-in, it has to do damage, otherwise you're behind, but I'm still making drones behind it, I'm not all-inning. So yeah, I saw the weakness there and decided to pressure a little and take advantage of it.
Now, Tunneling's just streamed in. You took out a considerable amount of SCVs. Let's look at the drone count compared to the SCV counts. 35 drones compared to his 17. And kind of...